Okay, let's go ahead and get started early. I do have to leave here at in about 45 minutes, so let's just jump right into it. Give me an audio check. Let me know how everything sounds, and we will dive right into these charts. So, real quick, obviously, give you guys an analysis on how we ended the week. Let's look at the weekly chart actually, because that's since we closed the week out. So there's your weekly uptrend. I've got a couple uptrend lines I've got marked out on, kind of multiple time frames. There's the weekly. Let me kind of clean this up here. The weekly chart looks like about right there. So, and maybe I could even move it just slightly down, right about there. So again, still in a weekly uptrend. All right, that's obvious. We did have a pullback. We really closed about the same level as the previous week. So on the weekly chart, nothing's technically broken. And so we'll keep an eye on that. Let's look at the daily. There's the daily. Biggest thing I'm looking for on the daily, and you got to kind of adjust it on the daily just to mark. It's about right there. Biggest thing on the daily, we do have this bearish engulfing candle right there. No follow through really on Friday. I mean, what you want to see more selling. It's okay to see a candle like that. You just don't want to see like buying green candle. You want to see it kind of hold down near the lows and ultimately get that work its way lower for confirmation. So no confirmation there on that one. But doesn't mean it can't come next week. So that's the daily. So bearish engulfing, the way we want to treat it, when these show up is take the highs, mark it out, and that's that line that I had earlier. And a daily close above the highs would mean that this is not the top. Bearish engulfing candles, outside days like this, you want to look for them at the end of extended uptrends, and you want to for a top, signs of a top. That's basically what it is. It doesn't have to be the top, but this is what these dojis, it's not really a doji, but it's a bearish engulfing candle. It's a reversal candlestick. So you look for those at the signs of extended uptrends, and we do have an extended uptrend. We've got the negative divergence on the daily. There it is, right there on the RSI, and then the PPO. It's right there as well. So we have negative divergence. We've got a reversal candle. All right, so that's it. We have everything we look for a reverse of trend. The only thing we really need, the final piece, is a break of support, and that's kind of this uptrend right here. Okay, so break of support would be the next impulsive sell signal. Impulsive break, that would be our next sell signal on that one. I think a lot of this comes down to Nvidia, and when I look at that one, there it is. The very clean uptrend line on the daily. All right, so support all through here. There's support. And you can see we closed basically on support, just a hair above, but we're still holding support. So that's the biggest, that's the takeaway. Nvidia still in an uptrend, and we do not have a sell signal. We have negative divergence, or let me double check. Actually, not really. So we have momentum. We have a bearish engulfing for sure right there. And that's also a bearish engulfing there. So we have these reversal candlesticks, but we don't have divergence on the daily. I mean, we do have a large divergence that's been extended out. So that would likely show up on the weekly. You can see here. That's actually been extended out, but nothing short term. And we need to break support. Biggest takeaway, watch that trend line. Okay, so that's Nvidia. I'm sure people want to, Tesla's another one I'm sure people want to cover. Tesla for me, I was talking about, if I go to the weekly here, there's your downtrend line right there. Okay, very obvious. I've got it all marked out, but it's very obvious. And if I zoom in, I almost have to delete these lines, but you can see we close, like the prior week, closed just above it, but not impulsive. So it's not a breakout. And then last week, look at that. All right, last week, I mean, this is a bull trap as far as I can tell. Doesn't have to be, but in general, it looked like a breakout midweek. All right, things were running up, but again, I talked about how there was negative divergence building, and it looked like the momentum was dropping and fading. And there you go, closing the week pretty much on the trend line. I mean, my trend line could be off. It's close enough to where we can't say that's a breakout, and it's just right there on support. So I am not short this thing right now. I shorted it as we started to break out. It looked like a good short, but ultimately, as you drop down to support, I need to see it start to break back below in order to want to reshort it. And if we get that, I think we'll have a pretty impulsive move right down to the 200, down in that area, 204, 205-ish. And then very likely, I think we're probably going to go on to make new lows, to be honest. It's in a downtrend. I believe that downtrend has not been negated. Still in a downtrend. So don't get lost in the intraday stuff. When everything's pumping, it doesn't mean, oftentimes when things are pumping up, very often that's the best time to actually enter or take a position short, if you're looking to short. Same with longs. If things are crashing, I want to buy low, sell high. I want to sell high or short high, cover low. But most people can't do it. They're like, oh, everything's bullish. It's great. It's bullish because the price action is moving up. Doesn't mean that isn't a great opportunity to take that opposite position. Buy low, sell high, short high, sell low. This is, but most people have a hard time doing that. Most people want to buy high and sell higher, and they want to short low and cover lower, basically. Trend chasing is what that is. All right. The SPY, let's look at that, and then I'll get into your guys' stuff. I don't see any technical. Oh, this is a weekly chart, so no technical change there on the weekly. Let's look at the daily. Bearish engulfing there. All right, that's a bearish engulfing. You also had this little uptrend. I pointed it out in the private member group on the hourly, how that started to break. So I think we're probably going to come down to the more major trend line here. All right, and then we'll see. Again, you got to break that trend for the next sell signal. So that's that. And then obviously IWM, it's in the media. The small caps are running, and I see in CNBC.com they're talking about, how do you trade the small cap play? And honestly, I think usually by the time you see stuff like that where they're pumping stuff in the mainstream media, it's usually the move's over. And on the daily, that's a shooting star doji, I think is what they call that. There might be some other names, but in general, a shooting star doji. So it's a reversal candlestick. Now, what you want to see is confirmation. So more selling would be the confirmation. And in general, that would be, something to look for. Momentum, I mean, on the RSI, kind of popped up and made some new higher momentum. The PPO is still lagging behind, so still divergence. So, I don't know. We'll see. No, I'm not trading it right now, this one specifically, but so look for confirmation. All right, let me get into your guys' stuff. Again, I got to be out of here within about 35 minutes. Hey, James, appreciate the membership. I know I see a lot of comments from you and stuff, so definitely appreciate that. Hopefully you're finding value, and, I don't claim to get all the trades right. I don't get them all wrong either. And, the haters call me on the ones I get wrong and never give me credit for the ones I get right. And, in general, nobody's going to get everything right. So, but again, I use the charts to be the guide. Let's look at your guys' stuff. Bearish engulfing on the SPY got nixed the very next day on the SPY. Well, let's not really. I don't know what someone says the bearish engulfing on the SPY got nixed the very next day. No, this is an inside day. All right, that's what that is. Where you close, where you open and close within the range of the previous day, that's an inside day. So that's typically inside days are continuation patterns, continuation days. But the bearish engulfing has not been negated. To negate the bearish engulfing on the daily chart, you need to see a close above the highs of that bearish engulfing. So 561.50, a daily close above that negates the bearish engulfing. This is an inside day. It doesn't negate it. Just because you run up intraday, it's all about the close. When you're trading a daily chart, it's all about the close. SEDG. All right, let me look at this one. Bullish falling wedge. Failure, basically. Momentum got wiped out. I don't see anything I like about this one. I mean, it's obviously rallying, but this is a bullish falling wedge that got taken out. Here's the thing, though. Bullish falling wedge is not a buy signal. You can buy at support. It's higher risk. I always talk about that. Buying at support is higher risk, higher reward. Or you buy on a breakout of resistance, and we never got the breakout of resistance. If you buy at support, you set your stop below, so you should stop out, slightly below as you're taking out that support. So again, that's how you keep your risks small. And again, this is still an 11% drop, or depending on where you set your stop. But yeah, I don't see anything I like about this one. You got a gap to fill right here. Looks like it filled, so you might get rejected right there. Freeport, McMoran. So I got support right about 47.37. Seems to still be holding. Potential head and shoulders. I mean, it's still holding that support. So the sell signal, regardless, like I could see a head and shoulders because look, you can kind of see this shoulder, head, shoulder. Head and shoulders is like my least favorite pattern because I think it just gets over. I just see people bring it up way too much and they make head and shoulders out of nothing or weird looking head and shoulders. It's my least favorite pattern. However, this looks like a relatively clean head and shoulders so far. In order for this to be a head and shoulders top, you need to see this shoulder roll over. And then the neckline is this support level, which to me looks about 47.17. And then the measured target is you take from the head down to the neckline, and then you take it at the point of the breakdown here, and that would give you your measured target. And then, look at this. I don't know. There's maybe an uptrend, but again, only 2 data points. So, something like that. And then sometimes these measured, so like this gap or whatever is right in there. And that would be the measured target. But there's a lot of hypotheticals that have to take place. Like 1, you need to roll over. 2, you need to break the neckline support. If you did that, I think you could short right there at the break for a push down to, I'm going to get rid of this uptrend line because it's not a valid one. So I would say a push down to about the measured target, about 41, and gap fill right there. All right. And I would cover ahead of the gap fill. So if you're coming down, you don't want to wait for it to hit that gap fill line. It very likely will, but you want to kind of front run. You're always looking to front run basically. All right, so that's what I got. Negative divergent. That's a divergent high right up there. See the negative divergence. So that's what I'd be looking for. All right. Barrett Gold. As of right now, it's a divergent high. I mean, we're pushing up. We're making new highs here. Yeah, slightly new higher high. It is divergence. It's not confirmed though. I mean, this RSI has to turn down to confirm it. PPO needs to turn down. Otherwise, momentum keeps moving and price keeps moving up. So, there's, you know, that's the uptrend line that I like on that one. So it's not a short, that's for sure. It's not a short. I don't want to go. I wouldn't want to go long here where it's at. You know, down here is a better long. But up here, I don't want to put new money to work. But I think if you are long, you could just trail stops. I don't see any reason to short this thing. Okay. EL. Hold on. Let me get this super chat. James, appreciate the super chat. What would you like me to look at? Wing? Is that what we were looking at? Wingstop. That one started to break down. I was looking at it. I think I missed it. Yeah. Well, actually, this is what I got on Wingstop. So I've got some support right about 372.19. Yeah. So that's where I have my support. So I need to see a break of that in order to, for the short. Also, you had this uptrend line. So it was a short there. Coming into support. So I need to see that break in order for the next sell signal. The reason why I was looking at this one is also I was looking at that Domino's and Chipotle, both kind of food companies. And Domino's, obviously, this was the trade that I pointed out to the private member group. It's the trade I don't think is over, but you know, here we had the uptrend line, right? We had the sell signal when we broke, hit support, all right, and I pointed it out. Hey guys, we're hitting support. I think it's time to cover, and that's exactly what I did personally. And then boom, you bounce. So I think you can. I think you could go up more. You could re-short it at the resistance, which to me looks about 500-ish, for a push down to the next level. All right, and that would be down here about 440. Yeah. So, yeah, and the 200. I think that's a good trade. Like if you could re-short it at 500 for a push down into the 200. That's a swing trade. So that's what I got on that one. And then, you know, so yeah, Wingstop, you got to break that support there. And then if you do, then, then you have this longer term trend line. So I think you break that, you're probably going to, boom, hit the 200. You probably get some sort of a bounce and work our way down to this trend line, wherever that might be. That's what I have on that one. Big negative divergence also on this building. All right. See, it's just building. So tells me that this is going to reverse trend. So next sell signal comes on the break of 372. And then just like that. All right. Moving on. Hawaiian Electric. Did I do EL? Did I do that one? No, Estee Lauder. Okay. So we have divergence now. This is a divergent low. Not confirmed though, but because you can see momentum's just like heading down. But we haven't made a new low in momentum from the previous low. In the shorter time frame, momentum's clearly going down. So that's that. What I would do on this one, it's not something I'd want to be shorting here. I mean, this thing's well off its highs. Deeply entrenched in a bear market since 2022, down 80%. So I'd be more interested in a long, but I don't want to just go long just for the sake of being contrarian. I need technicals to line up. So I'd probably look at this. It's the best I got is there. Go down to the hourly to tighten it up. Yeah, about right there. So I would look at this, and then a break of that trend line would be a buy signal. You know, you're wedging, as far as I can tell, right there. Bullish falling wedge, you're wedging, you're getting close. So you need that breakout point, though, for the buy signal, and we just don't have it. Keep an eye out for it, though. Earnings coming up. Well, earnings is a little ways away in August, end of August. All right, so that's that one. And then HE, Hawaiian Electric. So it's a utility. I mean, it's a utility. So these don't move a lot typically. All this one had some bad news or something, earnings. I don't know. Big, huge drop. Yeah, I don't know. Oh, is this from the fires? This might have been from those fires, and maybe they're getting sued or something. So that's what I got. I got that basically for my downtrend. Resistance, resistance, resistance. You can't tell, right? I mean, is that the breakout and this is a back test, or is that a fake out? All right, so you just gotta wait basically on this one. I don't see bullish divergence on the PPO. It's slightly there on the RSI, not on the PPO. So as of right now, I would just give the bias to the trend, which is down. And yeah, so I wouldn't touch it. I wouldn't take a breakout on this one. Let's look at the hourly. Sometimes that can be a clue too, because if breakouts occur with negative divergence, which this one didn't really. So again, a little more time. You got to see what it wants to do here. You know, if anything, I think it's a short, but it's too risky for me. I would just wait and see. All right, so that's that one. Sofi, Nvidia, Apple. I covered Nvidia. I can look at Sofi because that was obviously a trade idea I talked about. To me, that looks like a breakout. And I do have a position in this one. Bullish falling wedge, very well-defined wedge. No real bullish divergence there on the RSI, but clearly on the PPO. And then on the shorter time frame in the RSI, you've got the bullish divergence here. Oh, grab this tool. See that? So, like, that's kind of a divergent low. At least hourly, there's clearly a divergent negative or a bullish divergence. Right there. And a breakout. All right, that's it. It's a breakout until it's not. So to me, it looks like a breakout. Measured target is the widest part of the wedge, which is about there at the point of the breakout. Sets us up for a push to about $9. So that's that. I don't see any change there. And then Apple. Nah, I don't see any change. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's going to break down, but I don't see any reason to short the thing. Nah. Nothing to do there. HAL Halliburton. Or it's Halliburton, right? I'm pretty sure it's Halliburton. Yeah. So you've got this clear. Hold on. Maybe it's not super clear. Hmm. I don't know. I don't have a full-on trend I can really fall in love with. I'd say it's something like this, but that's only 2 data points, so we'll see what kind of reaction happens there. But I would give it the benefit of the doubt and let it attempt to get rejected at that trend line before thinking that I got a breakout. As of right now, I think, you know, it looks like a downtrend. And you got some support right about in here. Oh, right roughly in there. Look at that big breakout, that big candle. Yeah, I'll push it up right about there. Support is about 32.75-ish, 32.50, you know, and then, you know, downtrend. I don't see a breakout yet. Paychecks. Is that paychecks? P-A-Y-C? Thought that was paychecks. Oh, that's X. Yeah. Okay. Bullish divergence on the daily. I don't know. It's got bullish divergence. It's like a small cap, probably. Maybe not. I just don't love it. This is a breakout. That, to me, that's not an impulsive breakout, so I can't fall in love with that. Potential, you know, you got this downtrend line there. Bullish divergence isn't enough to go long, and I just don't see any buy signals on that one. So I'd probably pass or keep watching it. United Rentals holding support about 621-ish. Need to see a break of that for the next sell signal. And it's kind of a choppy trend line. It could even move it around a little, but you know, I could even move it down to like here. It's probably the safe place to move it, just this breakout candle. But it's still holding support, so I need to see that range get taken out, and that if that gets taken out, I believe you fall to this trend line, well-defined uptrend, like that. Google, Amazon, there's nothing interesting there. Google, potential breakdown of a bearish rising wedge. So there's your bearish rising wedge. Negative divergence, it's there on both. And not a sell signal. That's the thing. They closed too close to the trend line. It's not an impulsive break of trend. So it's not good enough for me on the, you know, it's just not good enough. Now, if we see some more selling next week, get some sort of a breakdown candle and close down there, then that would be the sell signal. And yeah, that's it. Widest part of the wedge is that I have is here, which sets this up for, depending on when it breaks down, you know, maybe a push down to this gap entry, roughly 162.55. So a little more work to be done, but it's close for sure. Rivian. This is definitely a small cap. To me, I don't know. It looks like they're holding that resistance there. I don't see any divergence. I mean, I don't love it. It's not a great chart, but, you know, this looks like resistance and could come down to here, and that looks like support, and I don't see anything else in between. This thing's already smoked, so it's not, you know, I don't want to be jumping in on something short that's already smoked. I want to jump into something before it gets smoked. on the short side. To me, it's trend chasing if I'm shorting this. But, you know, short term, maybe that's what I got. Gold miners. I did cover Barrick. This looks about the same. Now, the thing that I have on this one is this long-term, I got to go to the weekly for it, this long-term downtrend line. All right, there's the high back in 2011. There's a reaction. There's a reaction. There's basically a reaction, and we're right there, and that's not a weekly breakout. All right, yeah, you're above it, but not good enough. All right, that's not a weekly breakout. So they might chop it around here for a little while. You need to see an impulsive breakout for a weekly breakout. And if you get that, this is a big isometrical triangle. And, you know, you take the breakouts, the next trend. The direction of the breakout is typically the next trend. So, but it's not a breakout yet. So that's all I see there. All right, I'm going to do just a handful more, and then I do have to get out of here. So, and I don't want to go too fast because, you know, PCT, junk stock. I tend to stay away from these junk stocks, you know, these cheapies, but maybe a downtrend line there, a couple data points to go off of. Yeah, I don't have anything I can really get behind on this one. Looks like it's kind of range bound right now. You've got lows, highs, range bound, and maybe a downtrend. You know, I don't know. I wouldn't short it. SOUN. Another junk stock. Is this the same person? No. Okay, Soundhound. This is I think don't they do like streaming music stuff? Okay, so uptrend about there. Is that a divergent low? Let's look. Not really. So probably have to give that the benefit of the doubt and go like there. Yeah, and that captures those 2 points, and then that one. Pumping on this IWM thing, but resistance, if you look at the last time you had a reaction, it's right about there. And I think you closed, it's too close for me. I mean, again, this thing, a breakout on this would be very impulsive, and it's just, you're just barely above it. So I don't love it. I think it gets rejected right about here and heads back down to the trend line, if I had to guess. Okay, moving on. Las Vegas Sands. All right, 2 more. I'll do this one and 2 more. No change from last week's analysis. Divergent low. All right, you got bullish divergence. See the PPO starting to curl back up. Hasn't crossed over, but it's starting to. Divergent low, you know, so I'd be looking more for a long here. I wouldn't be long, though. I'd need a buy signal, which would be a break of this trend line, which I don't have. Unity Software. It's a gaming software. Downtrend. Bullish divergence. So your divergent low's here. All right, that's a divergent low. Doesn't mean you can't make another divergent low. Divergence can sometimes and often does build for a while. But we do have divergence now. We have a downtrend line. You need to see a breakout, and the breakout comes on this trend line. That's the only trade for me to be made, unless there's, yeah. So it's a good long setup for sure, but it's not actionable yet. You need to see a break of that trend line. So I could throw it on my long watch list because it looks like a good setup, but it's just not actionable yet. Okay, one more. We can look at Dell. I haven't looked at that one for a while. I know this one pumped on the AI stuff too. Anytime I hear things pumping on the AI stuff, those are the ones I'm looking to short because they get overpriced. You know, everybody piles in on mania, they chase it, and those are usually the best shorts when the time is right. Negative divergence. You know, look, here's earnings. This is the point. There's your earnings right there. They pumped this thing right into earnings, you know. And people would say, oh, it's the most bullish. Earnings was great. And you're underwater. You're losing money. You can't understand why, but you're down 20%. So this is the trend line I'm watching right here, this uptrend line. You have the negative divergence. I need to see a break of that trend in order to, for a swing short. Extend that out. A break. This is kind of my support. It's about 133.50. I think you get that, you push down to this trend line. So that's all I really have. Nah, nothing really here. There's this downtrend line, but it's they're kind of holding it. I almost have to extend it out like that. Yeah, so no trade there on that one. That's all I got, guys. Enjoy your weekend. Thanks for attending the live stream. Feel free to join up on the private member group. Check it out. It's $5 a month. And I will catch you guys later. Take care.